Hi everyone, and welcome to Positive Persuasion. Today we're going to be having a look at rhetorical questions, what rhetorical questions are, how rhetorical questions can appeal to emotions, and how rhetorical questions can appeal to our sense of logic. So, what is a rhetorical question? A rhetorical question is a persuasive technique or device. It's used to persuade an audience to a certain point of view. It is essentially a question that doesn't require an answer because the answer is implied within the very question. The rhetorical questions might make the audience feel a certain emotion, like rage or enthusiasm. A rhetorical question might also draw on your sense of common sense. So let's have a look at emotive rhetorical questions. Now, emotive rhetorical questions appeal to the ethos and pathos within our minds. Essentially, emotive rhetorical questions want us to feel a certain raw emotion, and the rhetorical questions help draw those emotions out from us. So an example of an emotive rhetorical question is, "How can you do this to me?" You've probably used this one occasionally, probably with your parents, to make them feel a sense of guilt. Another one is, "Can we stand around and do nothing?" This again appeals to our sense of guilt and makes us want to stand up and do something. A rhetorical question that's very common and quite cliche is, "Will somebody please think of the children?" This rhetorical question makes us feel like action has to be taken, that there is no other option. And that's how these rhetorical questions appeal to our emotions in quite a powerful way. Conversely, logical rhetorical questions appeal to the logos or the reason within your mind. They make us stop, pause, and think about what has been said, making us draw a logical conclusion, one that the speaker or writer wants us to draw. An example of this is, "Can you imagine that?" That question has probably been asked after a long description, and providing us with the rhetorical question, "Can you imagine that?" forces us to stop and actually think through what they've said and come to the same reasonable, logical conclusion that the speaker has. Another example is, "It's not much to ask, is it?" This rhetorical question is quite a powerful one. It allows you once again to stop, pause, think about what's been said, and consider as to whether you think it is too much to ask. It can be really powerful using rhetorical questions to appeal to a reader's sense of logic and reason, because we know that as human beings we are quite logical creatures. In the final part of this video, I want to talk about using rhetorical questions with intent or purpose. If you're a writer or if you're creating a speech, it's important to stop and think, what do you want to gain from this rhetorical question? Do I want to gain my audience some emotions? Do I want them to stop and think about what I've already said? And do I want them to come to the same logical conclusion that I have? Also consider who is my target audience. That will really impact on how you phrase and how you write the rhetorical question. The last thing you should ask is, how can this rhetorical question add strength or value to my argument? Giving yourself that question allows you to stop and think about how you can make it the most powerful rhetorical question possible. I hope during this video you've learned a lot about rhetorical questions. Thanks for listening.